Hello, everybody. We are going to talk about the 1984 Bigfoot story. The story of the first time that myself and my family had, ran into the Bigfoot, where Bigfoot became such a true reality. So to get to the 1984 story, first of all, I'm just walking around up here. Now, up here it says trails closed. Might be closed, but it's not close to me. So watch. When we get up here. All right, here we go. It says trail closed. I don't care. Trail's not close to me. All right. To understand the Bigfoot story, you got to understand about my family. In 1984, I was 11 years old. And growing up in the town of Kerman, California, with two bigger brothers, one father, no mom. She left when I was a baby. In fact, true story, I didn't even know my mom was alive until I was like 16, 17, because nobody ever talked to her. I always assumed my mom was dead. I know how weird that sounds, but it's true. So, growing up, my family, part of our family, Ragsdale Family, our vacation, whatever, has always been in the mountains. My father worked at a sugar plant in Mendota. So every time he has vacation, it's always for the mountains. It's always to camp. So we grew up in the mountains. We grew up in the Yosemite National Parks, the Sierra Mountains, Yosemite Mountains. And we always hunt. A hunting trip was mostly, we go to two different places. One's more of a desert, one more in the mountains atmosphere where everybody would recognize. We always hunt in a place called Poison Meadows, right? And this campground area is like, it's not even a campground area. Back in the 80s, you kind of made your own camp. And other hunters respect people's camp. It was like, it was their property without even owning the property. So we camp in the same spot every single year. Every single year. And what you got to understand, people, about my family is we were always taught to respect the woods, respect the animals, because this is their land. We are on their land. So you have to respect your surroundings and the animals that you're in. That included bears, of course, deer, chipmunks, squirrels, whatever's out there. And Bigfoot. Bigfoot was always talked about as in the same line as bears and other animals. Now you gotta understand, people, if you're younger, you gotta understand, this is 1984. Not everybody had like cable TV. Cable TV in 1984 was a luxury. You were the cool kid on the block if you actually had cable TV. And if you have HBO, you're a god. Now it's nothing. So, us, hearing about Bigfoot our whole life, it was nothing more than hearing about bears and anything else. People are like, well, Eric, as a kid, you really thought Bigfoot was 100% real? It's no different than when people grew up thinking Santa Claus was real. Because when you hear it, so I never knew that Bigfoot was considered a myth. Now, with our experience, he's not a myth. So So for us, we all respect Bigfoot. You know, and like when you respect bears, right? I mean, you see bears on TV and books, but it's not very often you gonna see a bear in the mountains unless you're hunting, right? You might see a bear, so you don't even rarely see a bear. So it was a day in oh my god, I almost forgot the date. It was in September. We were on a regular hunting trip, and how we did our hunting trips, we had a set of people that go in vehicles, and then we had a set of people go on foot. Now usually the younger kids, the 13, the 14, 15, they're the ones who go on foot, and the older people drive. Now I was 11, so I had a cousin who's my age, so we went with the older people in the cars, just because we couldn't keep up with with my bigger brother and all of them on foot. So what we basically do is like we have a certain pattern that we drive to certain areas, dirt roads, looking for deer, and the people on foot go off to Poison Meadows, like go down the Poison Meadows, the creek, to do their hunting. And the idea is, at the end of the day, about sunrise, we pick the time that we want to meet. We have a certain area where we have 3 huge rocks. So we call it 3 rocks. We'll meet up 3 rocks. Okay? So on this day, was same thing, nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing different. We got up in the morning. We had our Indian eggs, and my uncle called Indian eggs because basically you just take whatever you had for dinner last night and you mix eggs with it, and there you go, Indian eggs. Why they call it Indian eggs, I don't know, but that's what I remember. He goes, all right, everybody, eat your Indian eggs. So if he had steak last night, you cut up the steak, you throw it with eggs, and there's your breakfast. So we had our breakfast, and then I got in the vehicle, and we just started driving. Like I said, everything's normal. We just started driving. And then right when, like before the sun goes down, because technically, by law, you can't hunt when it's dark, right? You can't hunt. And it makes sense, right? Because you don't want to accidentally hit a hunter or somebody. So we meet up at 3 rocks to pick up our other group. And then we drive back. And driving back was about 5 miles or so. Now I got to remember, we're in the mountains, dirt road. So 5 miles is not like getting in a car and you're there in 5-10 minutes. You got to drive at like 20 miles per hour, actually 5 miles per hour, because it's not completely dark yet. You can still hunt. So when everybody gets in the car, we're driving back to hunt. Okay, so we're driving very slowly, and you heard like bushes, like something's walking in the bushes, and in the back of your mind you're thinking, oh, it could be a deer, it could be a bear, right? So we're driving. Okay, so hold on, let's okay, so like yeah, you see that tree right there? So we're driving. My Uncle John, bless his heart, he passed away. He's a fantastic human being. He goes, what the fuck is that? I mean, that's what he said. He said exactly like that. What the fuck is that? I mean, it was real passionate, real scared, and everybody looked. Everybody looked. And it was like right there where that tree is. This thing was like, I know I was 11, but this thing was over anywhere from 7 to 9 feet. Now, when you're wasn't a far distance, but you know this thing was tall. It was not on four legs. It was standing up, and it made this like a vibration type of roar. What I always explain it is for myself, take a bear, maybe it's a female bear, and have the bear yell, but into a speaker, a distortion. You're distorting the music, distortion. It was that kind of a scream, right? Everybody's like, whoa. Then my brother and them like Bigfoot. My brother and our cousins, Gary, Daryl. Gary, Daryl, my cousin Kenny. Our buddy Runemakin, who's is highly huge in the military. High rank. That's where I get a lot of my secret sources from. Sorry. Miguel Rodriguez, my brother Michael Wood. All the young guys grab their weapons. I'm serious. They all grabbed their weapons. The only thing I had next to me was a fork. What the hell am I going to do with a freaking fork? But it doesn't matter. It didn't matter. They grabbed the weapons, we grabbed the fork, and they went after it. We went towards it, and the thing starts taking off. Now, why did we went towards it? The way I explain it is, when you have family members who tell you that respect Bigfoot, respect your surroundings, we weren't scared. You're shocked what you're seeing, but I don't know how to explain it, because they talked about it so much that, Bigfoot's protector of this land, like lions are the king of their land. So there was nothing scary. There was no scary. Listen, the only Bigfoot story we ever really heard besides our family was the famous pilgrim story, the famous Bigfoot footage, and that was it, right? That's all you heard, and again, there was no TV really. We didn't have cable TV. It wasn't like all this information about the Bigfoot stuff was there. So we go off what we were told by our family. So it's their fault that we start chasing it. So my brothers, of course, they're older. All the older kids were faster. So they're all up there. Me and my cousin Kenny, we were the youngest. We were both like 11. And we're chasing behind him. And this thing never went on 4 feet. Now people say, Eric, you might have saw a bear. Listen. When you go in the mountains your whole life, and you know about animals, you know exactly what a bear looks like. Now, is there a chance? Well, there's a chance for anything to be not a Bigfoot, and I get that, I understand that, and that's why I don't get mad or anything when people say, "Well, you probably saw this." Hey, listen, I get it. If you weren't there, it's a hard story to swallow. Any story of the Bigfoot is a hard story to swallow. I know, I get that, I understand that. But I'm just telling you, from my point of view, and there was over 11 of us in these vehicles, every single one said, that's a Bigfoot. That's a Bigfoot. Now, one person ever thought, nah, you know what? It's a mental case bear that thinks it's human. Nobody thought stuff like that. So like I said, it was like right there. Start chasing it, and we're going down the woods. We're going down the crackling woods and all that. Then all suddenly, you heard silence. I don't know how to explain it. It was like right now I hear birds. All of a sudden the birds, everything was quiet. And the thing was gone. It was gone. There was, it vanished. Now, we were running in the woods. So, there's a lot of places it could have hit. And it knows its land better than us. So, for a Bigfoot to escape, it's not hard. especially when you start learning about the Bigfoot. For us, it was just like the most exciting thing we have ever imagined. I mean, it was just like, wow. I guess our parents were right. They were right. Bigfoot is out here. Never not believing that Bigfoot wasn't real, but it was like, we finally got to see one. And I tell this people all the time to this day. I remember going to school, going back to school after the hunting trip, and telling other kids that what we saw. And they're like, Bigfoot's not real. And it was a shocker to me because, what do you mean Bigfoot's not real? Trust me, he's real. But you learn that they all treated Bigfoot like a Santa Claus. So I learned very young that people are not open-minded. Now, when we were there, when Bigfoot was vanished, my Uncle Johnny and my father ran up behind us and told us, "You dumb motherfucking kids." Exactly. I mean, cuss words like, "Don't you ever run after anything. I don't care, Bigfoot, bear, or not. You don't run after an animal because you don't know what they're going to do when there's fear." Now, bunch of crazy young kids like Lord of the Flies, I think we scared the shit out of it. But my Uncle Johnny, he had a ball of thread. So he went and tied a tree, the thread, and when we all start walking back to the car, we had the thread there on purpose. And then when we get right before we got in the car, they hammered in a sign, and I remember it was like an X symbol. It was just what it's for was, so because at that time we got back to the car, it was dark. It got dark. So the next day when we went back, we saw the sign, we saw our thread, so we kind of knew exactly where to go. Now, the thread has always been used in our family as if we're going to some kind of a trail in the mountains that we've never been on, we would tie a thread to a tree so we could find our way back. It was a way for us to find our way back. So when we walked down the thread, you could see all the breaks in the wood. Now, you're like, yeah, but all you kids ran on it. Yeah, I know. But there was some pretty big, thick wood that was broken by something running. And us kids ain't that strong to break some of these kind of wood. So we saw where we weren't, first of all, we were kids. We weren't drinking. Well, some of the older kids might have. So we saw broken, and we went to the area where it disappeared, and we looked around. So, it was surrounded with woods. We weren't at that age or learning about looking for footprints and stuff, We knew exactly where it ran. We saw the broken things, and and even if you find footprints, it's not like we have the equipment to make cast of the foot. And of course, there's no phones, no computers, none of that stuff in 1984. But it was fantastic. It wasn't more of like, oh my God, what did we just see? We've always thought Bigfoot was real because it was brought up to our family like it was just like any other animal, like part of nature. And I still believe that they are part of nature. So again, when people don't believe stories, I get it. I understand. I don't get mad. It's hard to believe stories. It is, But the only thing I can say is, it wasn't just one of us. It wasn't two. There's over 11 of us. To this day, now, I hate to say it, that half of the 11 are no longer with us. But when they were with us, and of course my cousins are, we're all still alive. To this day, we know what we saw. Now after that, we always kept our eyes out. Now, for the Bigfoot because once you see one, you want to keep seeing it. But to this day, we've never saw the Bigfoot again. Never. And we even started looking, but never saw the Bigfoot again. I moved to Seattle, Washington, where Washington is supposed to have the most sightings of all states. Up here, we go out in the woods all the time looking for Bigfoot. Never seen Bigfoot again. And I know there's stories, there's fantastic trackers or all this, but I always feel that sometimes it is about being at the right time, right place. Now, one of the theories for us, for my family, is that this Bigfoot let itself being shown to us. Now, this is just a theory. I can't tell you exactly why that we got to see it. I can't. But we feel the theory is that we go to the same camp spot every year. And I feel that the Bigfoot, could be more than one, the family knows us. And I feel they know we're good people. Because, my opinion, my family are great people. We respect law, we respect rules, we respect the mountains. We're only there for what our hunting license says. We don't do anything illegal. We go in the mountains and we have a good time. The best part about a hunting trip is sitting there at nighttime. Just sitting there with the fire, just talking. So it's, I really feel that this Bigfoot, Sasquatch, knew us. And they knew that we were friends. We were good people. And I feel that they know that we go to this spot, the Three Rock spot, and it was near there to show us that he does exist, but not at the camp spot because I can't tell you why that was the spot, but we truly feel that Bigfoot knew us. And now, listening to other people's stories now in life, hearing about the certain kind of knocks that they do, sounds. For us growing up, those pattern knocks that people talked about, we have always heard that in the mountains, always. To us, certain sounds are just part of the sounds of the mountains that you go. Now, thinking again, we're that Bigfoot community communicating with other Bigfoot with the knocking sounds. Possible. It's very possible, because even I will admit that there's certain kind of knocking sounds that we heard are a little different than what we hear in Washington. But the thing is, Washington mountains are more packed. There's more trees. So not every one mountain's going to have the exact same sound. They're not. But maybe they were Bigfoot communicating, and we're just campers. We're not thinking second of it. But what I've learned is now, we go out in the woods. I am extra listening. I am looking. I am trying to, in a way, hopefully run into the Bigfoot again. But the thing is, I don't need to see it again, because I know he's real. Bigfoot is 100% real. I know most of you don't. And I get that. Most people in this world will only start believing in something until they see it. It's like a house is not really haunted until they have a scare. And I understand that. I get that. You know, but the only thing I wish for anybody is, even if you're a non-believer, and you have every right to be a non-believer, I say at least have an open mind of the possibility that something can exist. I mean, we discover new species almost every day. Every year, there's like 2,000 more new species that we never knew existed, and we found out they exist. Now, I know, I get it. It's different. It's different because Bigfoot is a 7-foot, 9-foot type of, you know, beast. And I hear people's arguments, where are the bones? And I'm always saying, well, have you ever gone camping? Have you ever gone to the mountains? Have you ever seen bear bones? I mean, really. And there's more bears than there are Bigfoot. Do you ever see bear bones, deer bones? I mean, I'm not trying to crap on people's, like, where's the bones, but every time you go, you know, if you go in the mountains, I'm talking about real people going to mountains. Not like you live in the city and you go in the mountains once every 2 years. You don't see a lot of animal bones. You might get lucky. And that's the thing. It's luck to find any kind of bones out there. So I always hated that excuse that you know, I don't know what I'm saying. You know, in the state of Washington, there's a lot of counties that have adopted a law that if you shoot Bigfoot, it could be considered manslaughter. Now, I'm sure if somebody did, you could just say that this thing was chasing them, right? But it is a law. You know, when Seattle had a basketball team, the Seattle Seahawks, the Sonics, you know, their mascot was a Sasquatch. So one thing I love about the state of Washington is they truly respect the Bigfoot. Now, I know they use Bigfoot as to sell items. We're not stupid. But that day in 1984, I'm telling you, it was just like it was just cool. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. You know, so, you know, I hear, when I listen to people's stories, they saw it, they got scared, they run. You know, everybody's story is different, but it's like, but it wasn't for us. But then you learn to understand that a lot of people who got scared of the Bigfoot didn't have families that talked about respecting the Sasquatch, respecting the animals like we did. So in a lot of ways, I felt very lucky to be in a family that was so open-minded, that believes that aliens do exist, because we're not the only life form in this whole galaxy, you know? Paranormal, ghosts, spirits do exist, because energy don't die. So, beyond that, so, well, and I hope that all of you who are watching this now, if you're not a true Bigfoot believer, that's fine. But what I'm asking you guys is to have an open mind. Have an open mind. Say, you know, if you want to come out and say, you know, I've never seen one. All the pictures, the videos I've seen, I don't think they're real. And that's fair. That's fair. But, you know, saying, but it doesn't mean they're not real. See, those are the people that I like. Those are the people that I respect. That are at least willing to listen. And then you come up with your own conclusion. Oh, if you think something's real, I got to show you the scenery. Gorgeous, right? Freaking gorgeous. Well, that's the 1984 Bigfoot story. And It's a day that it just really, for me, it was just like, wow, Dad, we finally got to see one. So it wasn't it wasn't like we never thought it wasn't real, because we were always told that it was real. And remember, again, 1984, not everybody had TVs. Not everybody had cable TV. I don't remember when, I think CNN was barely launching to a 24-hour network. TV, and even if you had a TV, you have antennas with 4 or 5 channels. And back then, TV used to end at 11 o'clock at midnight. You used to have that, like the sign-off sound music. And even when those 4 channels on, it's not like every channel's talking about the Bigfoot. Almost nobody talks about the Bigfoot, unless you get lucky and watching the In Search Of, show with Leonard Nimoy, Spock, that he used to host. It's like the only type of things where you hear anything about a Bigfoot. So beyond that, like I said, I just want to thank you guys for stopping by, and thank you guys for listening. And again, live life to the fullest. Live life with an open mind, because I'm telling you, people, you just never know. Seriously, we just never know. Just have an open mind. That's all I ask. All right? I love you all. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay? I love you all. I do TikTok almost every day now, live, Monday to Friday, except tomorrow I'm not. I'm going to be in downtown Seattle. I do a live YouTube shows Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, but not tomorrow. On Friday, I'm going to be downtown. But I got a kick-ass show today, Thursday. I have Insane Asylum coming on my channel. We're going to talk about ghosts, spirits, and all that. So please stop by, subscribe to my channel, and beyond that, I'll talk to all you lovely people later on.